All right, it's a good day today because it's time to put the heads back on this thing and start making it look like an engine again. I got this thing cleaned out pretty good, got the pistons all looking fresh, got the mating surfaces on the heads and the engine block all cleaned off and scrubbed down. Actually, it was kind of a challenge. I had to use those green sort of kitchen scrubby pads to clean these guys off, which not the super abrasive type, but kind of a controversial sort of thing from what I read online, but nothing else was really working. Ooh, it's very windy today, if you hear some background noise. Yeah, I read a lot of things that said, you know, the green pads are bad and they're going to leave a lot of little particles of, I guess, like plastic and aluminum shavings or whatever in there. And then other people said, you know, they've been doing it for decades and it's just fine. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I mean, worst comes to worst, I can always take these heads back off and have them, you know, rebuilt and spend all kinds of money on that. But maybe this will be a sort of test for the myth of the green scrubby pad to clean your mating surfaces. Got the fresh Felpro gaskets on here. All right, let's get to it.
Standing at a microphone without a melody to sing. Someone that I used to know makes my hands start shaking. Waiting at the bar alone, staring at your bruised dream. Crying out a lonely tone, words you never had to speak. Ooh, you were the last one to love me like a friend, to catch me lying. If we had a good time, let's sleep on this tonight. Love is on new fences. Wait for future tense. If we have the time. Waiting by my telephone, hoping somehow it will ring. Counting on my dying hopes to know the promise I should keep. Days spent in my empty home, no one to talk to me. Burning every second, so I should never have to think. Ooh, you were the best one. I have to see you again, but I keep running. If we have a good time, let's sleep on this tonight. Love is on new fences. Wait for future tense. If we have the time. Have the best time, but you never admit it. Sometimes I wish that had.
All right, well, we're in a pretty good spot here. Got the timing set all back in and installed, or I should say the new timing set installed. Got the cam bolt all torqued down, oil pumps in. I threw these valve covers up on here just to keep dust out, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with these guys yet. Last time we left off, they were drying and looking pretty good, but I don't know, there is some, I don't know if you can really see it, but some shiny areas here, and I think it might have to do with how the paint like falls down when it dries. You know, it falls and then pools here, and it gets a little more, ooh, still windy. Anyway, the paint settles down here, so it kind of doesn't get the texture on here. I don't know if I'm gonna, I mean, I went through a whole can of this stuff, so I don't know if I'm gonna try it again or what. Still thinking about that, but in the meantime, it's looking pretty good. I have to order a new front cover, front main seal, because I tore this guy up. Like, it was already kind of brittle, so maybe I got an old, you know, seal or something. Anyway, it's looking pretty good. Soon we'll get the oil pan on. I guess first I have to paint this thing, then it'll start looking real good. Got this thing cleaned up and masked off, and it's time to hit it with a fresh coat of paint. I threw the valve covers on the top there just to keep the overspray out of the heads. I think I'm gonna go ahead and strip these back down and give this crinkle coat another shot. All right, let's do it.
Caught you glancing over my way. No girl had looked at me like that before. Even though I knew your name, we had some time to catch up. I know that you know, I figured you out. Took me a while, but I got there somehow. Conversation, mixed emotions. I made my move without a doubt.
Not too bad. One can pretty much did the whole thing, 2 coats.
I get the feeling that we're playing in the power lines. We're wide awake, way after midnight. Make this moment electrified. We're wide awake, way after midnight. Don't be shy and don't get hasty. Let's give into the time that we're wasting. Moments like these we'll remember. Though we doubt this will last forever. The taste of your lips, the beat of your heart. I feel you breathing when I breathe out. We took it slow, now I'll take.
Ooh, look at that. Looks freaking awesome. All blacked out. I used the whole can on this thing and it pretty much covered it 2 full coats, but it was just barely. I wasn't sure about all black on the engine. Maybe it was too much, but I think it's gonna look cool in that orange engine bay. Maybe I can get some accents. I don't know, like they make orange spark plug wires and stuff like that. I'm super happy with how this came out. All right, I'm gonna start taking some of this tape off.
Faster. Don't feel the passion inside you now. Oh. I get the feeling that we're playing in the power lines. We're wide awake, way after midnight. Make this moment electrified. We're wide awake, way.
So I made a little mistake here. I guess I didn't cut the tape back far enough, so I'm gonna see if there's enough black paint to cover that little thing back up.
Electrified. We're wide awake, way after midnight. Take it off, all off, take it off, all off, take it off, all off, take it off.
Okay, crisis averted. I had to like really get the last little drops out of that thing, but I was just barely able to cover it. It's like Bob Rosso, he says, there's no such thing as a mistake, only a happy little accident.
You caught me by surprise with every word you said and all those hidden lies were innocent.
Took a little bit of searching to find these idler pulleys that were made in USA. A lot of them now are made in like, I don't know, like China or Taiwan or whatever. But my brother had one of these things blow out on a road trip recently in his Jeep, so and it was the exact same part. So I think I'm definitely gonna keep a spare one in my trunk.
Take off your disguise. We'll never be the same.
Wow, that's looking awesome. I'm pretty excited about my choice to keep that water pump sort of like natural color. Just that splash of silver there with the black pulleys and the thermostat housing and all that looks pretty cool. I did put a little bit of RTV around the water pump. I know that you're not really supposed to, or you don't need to do that, but I thought that the surface was kind of sketchy on my front timing covers. All right, I gotta throw the intake manifold on here and see what this is gonna look like. Yes, sir, that looks cool. It's definitely a weird intake manifold, but I'm gonna figure out a way to make it look cool. Maybe, I'm thinking like just a big center, like K&N sort of flat filter right here. I guess it'll probably end up somewhere like, gosh, I don't know if it's gonna fit, because you got a little bit of throttle body here. Got an adapter. All right, we'll see. I got these guys in the mail a little while ago, which are my conversion engine mounts. I got the TI engine mounts, and I ended up getting the 6.1 Hemi mounts. I talked to the guy on the phone. He said that the 6.1s do fit the 5.7s, but give a little bit more header clearance for later long tube headers. And supposedly they're gonna build long tube headers for the TR6060, which has the passenger side starter. And currently they only have headers for the driver's side starter, which you would use for maybe a 4-speed or a automatic or something like that. So these guys should be a little future-proof for me. Have a little bit better clearance. I guess I can just bolt them up now, I suppose. Let's do it.
End of you and I is imminent. Here we are, one more time. It's just the same old story. Voices loud, face to face, stripped of former glory. Every time that.
All right, finally got that thing in there. This one bolt here really was hard to get in. I think, though, I realized it's because it's using this hole here in the block, which I don't think ever had a bolt in it. I think that this is some sort of maybe mounting bolt for the low mount alternator. No, not alternator, but AC pump. So on the cars, the AC I think fits right here. As you can see, it only uses the front 2 bolts of the engine mounts. These 2 back ones aren't even used. Another thing I noticed on this page here, it does say somewhere, headers will not clear factory low mount AC compressor. So I think that that's the key here, is that this one might interfere with this AC compressor, but since I have the truck engine, I think I'm okay because the AC is mounted up here instead. So that might be one more point for the truck engine. I guess we'll see how this plays out. They fit really good. One thing I did notice on this side, the motor mount did touch the oil filter here just a little bit. Yeah, actually enough. Let me see. Enough to where that guy's not going to fit on there. I don't know if you can maybe cut this down, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do a remote oil filter anyway, so I don't think that's going to matter. Wow, all that trouble just to replace the rear main seal. Yeah, that thing was getting stuck on the engine stand there, so I had to lift the whole thing up, but it's in there. One thing I kind of noticed here, there's only one way to put this thing on, and it kind of made me think like maybe I put the front one in backwards. It had this little plastic retainer thing that was holding the front lip on there, and it kind of seemed like it went the other way, so I'm kind of worried about that front seal now. I'm gonna have to look into that, double check. Anyway, all set. One thing I did want to test out here too was the pilot bearing here. I just wanted to double check, and it looks good. It looks like it fits. I'm not going to press it in yet because I don't know which way it's supposed to go, this way or that way. I'll have to look that up.
Feel the open air and the sunlight breathing out a prayer that it stays right. Pretty distractions and days full of dreaming leave me unprepared. 'Cause I've been dealing with these demons in my mind, telling me which way to go and what to decide. Whatever I do, I just can't escape you. Choice is full of doubt.
All right, it's all set. Got the oil pan bolted on. We'll see how this thing fits in there.
It's a contest of what I can live without. But the hardest part of deciding, should I bide my time or leave this empty house? 'Cause I've been dealing with these demons.
All right, the Hemi's in, and I gotta say, it fits pretty good. It's pretty tight around the steering box over here, which I sort of expected. I can tell that's gonna give me some trouble with headers, but I kind of expected that, so definitely that little part there that sticks out from the steering box is pretty close, but here, let's see if I can get a better look at this. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. I'll test out some headers here in a minute. The alternator looks okay. It'll be close, but it should be fine. It looks like it is under the hood height, and yeah, I think that'll be just fine. You know, I was concerned about the valve covers and this brake booster, but I think there's plenty of room here. You know, it's a little close, but you know, no problem. Firewall clearance looks good, no problems. All right, let's check out some headers. I'm not too sure about these SRT8 manifolds. It seems like these were the popular ones for swaps, but I have a feeling they're just going to stick out a little too far. I did keep the Durango manifolds, so I'm curious about those. I think that they point towards the firewall a little too much. I need something where the collector points a little further downward, but just out of curiosity, I'll test those guys. I mean, that could be like a plan C or something.
No road signs or spotlights pointing me the way, but I can't help but feel that now. I can't help but feel that now is the time. 'Cause I've been dealing with these demons in my mind, telling me which way to go and what to decide. Whatever I do, I just can't escape you. 'Cause
All right, well, that's a no on both exhaust manifolds. The SRT8 manifolds were close on the passenger side, but the flange here hit the torsion bar, so it wasn't able to go flush with the head. It also got a little tight on the side of the engine bay there, but I think that probably would have been okay. It's just the torsion bar there that was hitting on the passenger side, or sorry, on the driver's side. There's no way it's going to fit with that power steering box. Even the Durango manifolds were too big for the power steering box, so I think I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one. I suppose I should look into that smaller power steering box. I think that's just going to give me the best chance of any header fitting here. Overall, though, I'd say that's pretty successful. I mean, it looks good in there. The mount's lined up pretty well, you know. The position of the engine is very low and far back, which is good for, you know, weight distribution. I'm pretty happy. All right, well, we know it fits. We know what we got to look into. We know we have some header problems, so of course the hard part is going to be the transmission, because there's no way that thing's going to fit in there, so I'm going to have to do some serious cutting and clearancing, but, you know, I'm ready for that. All right, it's time to pull this guy back out and get to work on those things.